and I'm 22 years old. And I'm really passionate about creativity, creative workshops, and making a difference within young people's lives. So a bit about me. I moved to a disadvantaged area, and the things that I saw from a young age was shocking. And when I was speaking to people, they was almost offended that I was telling them about my community and my surroundings. People selling drugs, you know, homes, family homes that was used as drug houses, and young mums was caught up in it. And you know, from a, I don't want to say poverty, but less fortunate backgrounds. And but then when I was speaking to these people and my friends, they were so creative and there was so much potential. And I was like, it was frustrating, and I was like, what can I do? So some of the topics that I'm going to be briefly covering are social change, domestic violence, my project, The Naked Creativity, and homelessness. And the quote I've put is, as a society, we must rise. Wipe the tears from our eyes, it's our time to fly. Through social change, we can conquer. For a channel in Leeds called Made in Leeds Television, and we was on about safer communities and what can be done, what can be we do to move forward to change these communities. And it was based around girls and gangs, so girls who are holding drugs for men and how to get them out of that and show them that they can literally achieve anything. Oh, yeah. So I've told you about the naked. Well, we aim to inspire, develop, and create self-love. When I'm running my creative workshops, it's really, really important that, yes, they recognise their creative streak, but that we're building on the self-love, because self-love comes to a belief that they can achieve anything. I have been in a place where I've not believed in myself, and that was because of a lack of self-love. And we also feed the homeless. So we've kindly been donated food and sponsored by PrEP. And through that, honestly, I didn't realise how ignorant I was. And that is me being 100% honest. I didn't. Speaking to these people, giving these people food, and sometimes it's not just about money, it's about actually talking to them, smiling at them. And another question, what is homelessness? Is it just on the street? Because that's a stereotype. Would you look at me and think I've been at risk of homelessness? You know, and it's touching these issues and showing them in the workshops and showing these young people it is okay. We're all going to go through things, but we can get over it. And yeah, so we stand for equality, and I believe no matter where you come from, what background, any community, we can make a change. Something that lays so close to my heart. I have close family members, and I've worked with young girls going through this. Young girls at 16, and any age, any community, any background can suffer from domestic violence. So we went round Leeds and we got messages of why the MP should support this, and it passed its second reading. So hopefully the laws will be strengthened, and then they wrote back just to say a thank you and everything that you're doing. Yes, so that's Bubbles. He's a homeless guy, and every time we see him, he's always got a story, and he actually had his own business, and then his wife died, and then he ended up on the street. So it's breaking the stereotypes. And what I am setting up currently is a website, because we're going to be doing online blogging. Another frustration of mine is social media not having a positive impact. You know, there's so many issues, body image, this image of being a bad bitch, and young guys thinking they have to have this flashy car or a chain, and they feel like if they don't, they're not successful. So I'm creating an online blog celebrating the achievements of the people in my city, because there is some amazing people, and I don't care what they've done or where they've come from. This young guy, Ryan, he walks around Leeds City Centre. He's created his own book, and on here you can't really see, but it's a poem, and he's got a little money box, and you put money in, and just he'll write you a poem for 20p. And I think it's just such a nice idea to get himself out there and noticed. This is a group of young boys within my community, and here he goes by the name of Graf. He's just been signed by Leeds United. I am so proud of him. But they do music, and they've done it's called Lockdown Leeds, and it's just rapping about Leeds, and actually it's just a group of young boys that are doing something so positive. We're beating the stereotype, so they're going to be featured on the blog. actually creativity is what you make it. It's a freedom to explore. It's a freedom to actually understand yourself and be that voice either for yourself or for someone else. I want to be the voice for the people that are too frightened to speak, or maybe lack the confidence in standing up and telling their stories. And it really is what you make it. And yeah, there's something called I Will Week, which is getting people into volunteering and stuff and gaining the skills to go forward in life and to be successful. That's us, the Naked Creativity Leads, the NC Leads, and these are some organisations that are really good to follow, that are supporting social change and supporting issues that I've gone over. A Bag for Katie is to do with food banks, so we donate food to food banks. But have we ever thought about donating sanitary towels? If a woman has a child or for herself and she's hungry, she's going to choose food over sanitary towels. But sanitary towels are a necessity as well. So A Bag for Katie is taking pads and stuff like that and donating them to these food banks. The Youth Parliament, where you get your voice, and I will get there one day, you get your voice and you get to speak about what is important. And this is something that I strongly go by. The naked truth behind the youth is far from what's on the surface. Look within and everyone can shine. And the reason I chose to name the Naked Creativity is because we're touching on issues that are raw. It's the reality, and this is what we can make a change. Social action. Through social action, we can build our society and not let the society build us. Thank you very much.
Be a role model. They can achieve the careers that they want to achieve.
And actually we're making really big differences.
So we make inspiring videos about stuff that matters.
I educate young people aged 13 to 25 in stamping out homophobic bullying.
Why not give to people who maybe this is the first time singing in front of an audience, or their voices haven't quite perfected their sound.
It's to educate young people on mental health, telling them kind of like it's okay to talk about mental health.
Hi, my name's Femi. I have a blog called hackerfemo.com. I run something called South London Raspberry Jam with my mum. It is Tourette's and autism friendly Raspberry Jam, in which we mainly code on the Raspberry Pi, which is this.
I think it's very important that you don't just think about you want to make a change, you actually take the action to make the change.
It was actually my work with the NSPCC that got me involved with it first. I saw a lot of amazing projects coming from that, and I thought, actually I could get involved in something like that. I could do something myself.
Big political things that are happening, the big environmental things that are happening, so big issues that we all face as a society.
You can have those important discussions about what we as individuals can be doing to get better in order to be able to do whatever it is that we want to be able to achieve in life, as well as be able to have those discussions about what's needed in society.
If you've got an idea, go with it.
Absorb what's useful, discard what isn't, and add what's uniquely your own. And a revolution is the complete transformation of something. It's not topical change, it's from the inside.
Scratch and start doing things, and it will slowly pile up.
Remember, you have a responsibility. Even if you do the smallest thing, that's okay, because small acts multiplied by millions can change the world.
People think, oh, young people, can't really do things. Sometimes we get a bad rep.
We're not here to test the waters, we're here to create waves.
He started his involvement in community work and making a positive change at the young age of 9. And so he's been involved in this scene now for 2 years with the support of his mother Grace, and also with the support of the community, and he's achieved many great things. Can we just have a round of applause for Femi, please?
Hello, my name is Femi Owolade Coombs. So I have Tourette's. It's a condition where you make involuntary movements and sounds without wanting to. So this is me. A little bit of Tourette's and a lot of coding. My life as it is now. As it said in the video, me and my mum made something called South London Raspberry Jam. We made it because I thought that the people in my Tourette's group would love to have the chance to code and hack Minecraft. However, I knew they'd find it hard to do it in public spaces. So I thought if we could set up a Raspberry Jam that was friendly to people with Tourette's, then perhaps they could try it out too. With my group of South London Raspberry Jammers, we are going to write a script of code for the Astro Pi to sense when the crew is present on the International Space Station. I also run robot workshops, so in my workshops pupils make a robot like this using the crumble. So this is some pictures from the first South London Raspberry Jam.
So is it code right?
Well, we do quite a few things. We do Scratch, which is like dragging the blocks. And then we also do Python, and we sometimes include HTML and CSS. So my message to other young people: there are so many opportunities out there. You could just go online and you can probably find a jam close to you, an amazing community who runs them, and then also learn something. And then showing it to, when you learn something and then you show it to someone else, it's the best way to learn, and then you're sharing your knowledge with others. My overall message is tech for good.
Much again, Femi. I really like how he's really championed the idea of young people being, teaching other young learners as well. And that's something I think, that kind of challenges the way we kind of believe of teaching at the moment. It's quite a didactical environment and so on, and I like that he's a pioneer of that as well.
Thank you very much for coming to celebrate activism in our society, especially those led by young people, which I believe will be the central theme tonight throughout the speech. First of all, I'm a year 13 student. As Jenna mentioned, I'm studying at Stanford School, and I'm currently doing philosophy, politics, and maths. I'm the chair of Lincolnshire Youth Council, and we meet regularly to discuss issues that concern young people the most, and we come up with solutions to tackle them. So we don't just talk about them without taking actions. And I think there's an issue within our society that young people aren't heard enough, and their opinions aren't taken seriously, even if they put forward their thoughts on, for example, current affairs. And that's why I took part in Question Time, the last edition, just before the EU referendum, and I asked David Cameron a question. He didn't answer me because David Dimbleby decided my question was too long. And I did some work experience at Parliament because I actually want to know how our political system and how the heart of our democracy, the Parliament, actually works. So I did a work experience with Hilary Benn, he was the former Shadow Foreign Secretary. And I think one thing I learned from my experience is that people actually want to hear what young people have to say, and it is again up to young people to move forward, to not feel very nervous like myself, and actually tell people what you think. Because when I made my comment on BBC Question Time, everybody loved it, and they really respect me for that. And last project I would like to talk about is I established this project at my school, as Janet mentioned. It's called the Links to India Committee. Basically, we formed a partnership with 2 schools in India. So we raised money, but at the same time, probably more importantly, we provide an opportunity for our students to learn the importance of international development and to be aware that there are other causes that are worth to support around the globe, not just within like kind of our own community. The interconnection is very important in this age of globalization. As Janet has mentioned, I believe that although from Brexit and from Donald Trump's inauguration, it is very easy to think that this is an age of division. But I believe we actually need to overcome that, and we actually need to unite together, possibly even with people you wouldn't want to like talk to at the first place. It's important not to take everything for granted, and that's a good thing about democracy, that under the freedom of speech, you're allowed your opinion as long as it is logically justifiable. But what would be counterproductive, however, is the attitude that one must be wrong if their belief is against conventional wisdom. And I think it's very important to show a different section of the spectrum. And people with extreme views should not be silenced simply by being labeled, but we should let them speak and defeat them intellectually or by democratic election. And I believe the freedom of speech and the right to free expression would be meaningless if it only protects certain types of expression. Therefore, I sincerely do believe that by allowing different voices, especially those that would challenge our conventional wisdom, we can actually promote respect and tolerance. Because how is it tolerant in any way if we simply refuse listening to some people's argument, regardless of how ridiculous and wrong they could be? In order to encourage political debate, I believe that the best way to transcendent to overcome intolerance is to defeat them in an intellectual debate or a democratic election instead of silencing them or blatantly ignore them. It is also important, I believe, to acknowledge the drawbacks of globalization and liberalism, as many sources pointed out. Furthermore, I believe we should embrace and learn from our enemies. Only in this way we can heal the divisions caused by what Carl Schmitt would describe as identity politics, and solve the problem the rising nationalism has highlighted without necessarily adopt their extreme measures. This encouraging a wide range of opinions would be the first step taken by any government which have caused disasters, for this would go down the slippery slope, which essentially caused the dehumanization and deprivation of the ability to think and to question, as Hannah Arendt described in her theory of banality of evil. And I think at this very important turning point of history, it is really important to listen to what your enemies or people opposing you have to say, and try to identify the problem they have in mind, and try, but only to overcome them from a way that wouldn't harm anybody. I think that although I probably would not personally agree with all the things Brexiteers or supporters of Donald Trump have to say, but from their victory, I think they highlight a group of problems we need to deal with. And I think it could never be the solution if we're running away from the problem, but it is time to embrace them and to heal the division. And we can only achieve that by calling everybody our friends
instead of calling them our enemies. Thank you.